Hello and welcome to Your New Jersey. I'm Lisa Marie Falbo. On today's show, we're highlighting local leaders making a difference in the Garden State. We're joined by Christopher Argenziano, owner and CEO of The Pool Boss. But first, Dr. Fatima Turner, founder of Inner City Cafe in Orange, built more than a coffee shop. She's created a mission-driven community hub that combines literacy, wellness, and cultural programs. Dr. Turner, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I love talking about cafes because I run on coffee.
Yes.
And I'm sure you have great coffee.
Absolutely. We have great coffee.
Well, tell us all about the cafe.
Well, the cafe is pink, is cute, and just what you said, it's a cultural hub. So we have coffee conversations, we have literacy programs, we have resume building, etiquette classes, we have live music, we have karaoke where I can live out my fantasies of being a superstar.
I love that. What
Yes.
inspired you to open the cafe?
Well, I was finishing up my doctorate, and it was right after COVID, and there wasn't a space for me to go. I had lost the momentum. I had lost, I just didn't have a space where I felt motivated. And I'm thinking that myself, with all of my resources, if I didn't feel motivated, if there wasn't a community for me and there wasn't a village for me, imagine what my surrounding community was feeling. And so I wanted to open something where people can come in, sort of like Cheers, where everybody knows your name.
Yeah,
I
love
grew up
that.
watching shows like A Different World and things like that, where the community always had a space where they can come. I don't know if you ever watched that show, but there was a Mr. Gaines, and Mr. Gaines served as like a local dad and uncle for everyone. So I wanted to open a space like that where I'm there, I'm another mother to people. I'm a big sister to people. I'm a little sister to people. The community can come in. They don't have to leave outside of our community. They don't have to go to New York somewhere to get something pretty and cultural. And so they can come right there. And so that was the goal. And then it evolved into something that I could not imagine. It evolved. The community showed up. The village showed up. And we just created this hub.
What is your background? You said you just got your PhD.
Oh, so I have a master's in social work, so I'm a licensed clinical social worker. Also have a master's in education, so my background is education. So I was a school social worker, I was a school principal, I run a private practice. I'm also the vice president of the school board. So my background is clinical social work, but I've always wanted to do policy, and I wanted to do social work on a more macro level. So my goal was to sort of bring all the avenues of my work into one, right into this cafe. And I've been able to accomplish that through my village.
Through your village. Talk about some of the clientele that comes into your cafe.
So, we have everyone from the mayor. The mayor will come in there, and we hold community talks where if anyone has any issues within their community, they'll come in and he'll help them. The superintendent may come in and talk to anyone who has issues with the school board or anything like that. We also have, I hire the students in the community. So I typically have local business leaders come in and give them business tips. We've had etiquette trainings. We do things like a book retreat. So for Halloween, what I do is, instead of giving out just candy, I collect books from local organizations, and we have this big book retreat. And last year we had someone come in dressed as Dr. Seuss. We even had someone come in dressed as Junie B. Jones and try to get students and the community excited about reading. We do this big winter wonderland where we block the street off, and I brought ice skating last year. Yes, I rented an ice skating rink.
Wow.
Yes, and put it right in the middle of the block. And we got some sponsors and, raised some money. And this year we're going to do it even bigger, just to give the community something that they've never had before.
I want to attend all of those events. They sound so cool.
Please attend. They're great.
I love it. And I appreciate you not giving out candy on Halloween. Candy is the devil with young kids, as you know.
Yes. And they really appreciate the books.
Yeah, I'm just in love with everything. So you have great coffee. What else do you have to offer in terms of food and beverage?
So we're a cafe and a bistro. So in the morning you can have your coffee, and in the evening you can have your cocktails.
Oh.
Yes, we have a full kitchen. One of our specialties are our chicken and waffles or chicken and croffles.
What's chicken and croffles?
Croffles are a mixture of a croissant and a waffle.
Ooh, that sounds
Yes.
really good. So when you were getting your PhD, did you ever imagine you would be in the food industry? Because that is the hardest, I think, of all the industries.
It's the hardest. I had no clue what I was getting myself into. No clue what I was getting myself into. And people say, well, what are you doing with your PhD? I say, serving coffee. They call me Dr. Coffee.
Dr. Coffee.
Yes, yes, yes. No, I had no clue, honestly. I just knew that I saw a need in the community, and it was hard for me to break into an industry where I felt like I was serving. And I grew up in public housing. And so it was very...
In Orange?
In Newark. In Newark. I grew up in Newark in public housing. And so I started with very humble beginnings. If you come into the cafe, you'll see I have a stairwell that says, life for me ain't been no crystal stair. But it's a poem by Langston Hughes, and it says it was filled with splinters and boards torn up. But the poem talks about how the mother turned these boards and splinters and nails into, opportunities. And so that's what I did. I took all of my experiences. I took the graffiti on the walls and the dirt, and I turned it into art and diamond dust and gold and petals and crowns. And so that's what I did. I was able to take my background, and I was able to hone in on all of those unfortunates and turn it into something positive. And that way, when little girls that look like me come in, and I tell them my story and I tell them where I came from, and I'm not shy about it, and I'm not embarrassed about it, because now look who I am. I'm Dr. Fatima Turner, who's the owner of Inner City Cafe. Drake says I started from the bottom and now I'm here. And that's not a brag or a flex. It's me telling the community and telling people, again, who not only started where I started from, but people who started above where I started from, so that they can look at people and say, you know what, here's the possibilities, and the possibilities are endless.
They really are with you.
Yes.
And by the way, you're so impeccably dressed. I can only imagine the artistic mind you have as well, and what that cafe looks like just from that kind of sense.
Yes, the cafe, it's unique. It's a unique cafe. I started with nothing. I didn't have any capital, and so I built the cafe as I went. I would go through, I have this tremendous designer, Bailey, and I was able to tell her my story and tell her the thoughts that were in my head, sort of like Alice in Wonderland, like I live in my head, and so these fairy tale images are what protected me growing up, and how it was my defense mechanism to the harsh realities of my reality. And so she was able to splatter that all out in Inner City Cafe. And so what I do is, on the weekends, I might go to different thrift stores, and in my passing, I pick up things that mean something to me. So you'll see parts of my childhood, parts of my grandmother who played a significant role in my life. There's always great music. My dad brought me up on great music, so you will not walk in the cafe and not hear music from Marvin Gaye, who the cafe was named after.
Oh, really?
Yes.
How did that happen?
Inner City Blues. So his song, Inner City Blues, and so I named the cafe Inner City Cafe. Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
That is awesome. Would you open more throughout other inner cities here in New Jersey?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. As long as I can keep the theme. It has to be a mission-driven business. Some of the things that we would have to stick to is hiring inside the community, ensuring that we're putting on different events. I also have a nonprofit called Crownwork, and so through Crownwork we offer many programs. So I would absolutely open more inner city. That's the goal. That's the dream.
Oh, that's a great, and you will accomplish that. I mean,
Thank
there
you.
is no question. Is there a success story that comes to mind where one day you were serving up coffee and maybe you saw a little girl that was struggling at one point, and then by coming into the cafe flourished?
So this is a story, and when you said this to me, it kind of gave me a chill. I'm a single mom. I have 3 daughters. And my mom was a teen mom. And so, again, talking about my upbringing. So there was a young woman that would come into the cafe often. And I could sense that she never really had a lot of money. And so I never wanted to make her feel like she was getting a handout. So always there would be something wrong with the machine. So I could give her coffee for free. And so one day she came in, she had an interview. she didn't have any headphones to do this interview. And she had shared with me that she was going to be evicted. She had a job interview, and it was summertime, so people was constantly ordering fraps, and for some reason everybody wanted a drink that needed the blender. And I started from humble beginnings at the cafe, so my blender's super loud. I don't have one of these muted blenders. So the whole entire morning I told everyone that the blender was broken so that she could interview in silence. She didn't have her computer. I lent her my computer. She was able to take the interview. Everything was silent. And when she was done, she came over to me and she told me that she got the job. And she told me how much I inspired her through my story. She told me how much I inspired her just by seeing her and never making her feel, less than, and never putting her on the spot, and just treating her like she was what she is. And so that, it melted my heart. I was able to help a fellow single mom, because someone helped me. Someone saw something in me. And so for me, that's the success story. And when I hear stories like that, that's what motivates me, because trust me, it gets hard. Funding for small businesses is limited. And there's days that I wake up and I'm thinking, I can't do this. But when I hear stories like that, it motivates me to go, and it motivates me to keep going. Yeah.
I am so happy that I asked that question and you shared that beautiful answer. What a sweet soul you are to give up money, right? So she can go and get a job. That is just so wonderful. Yeah. Where can people find out more about you and the cafe?
Well, you can find me anytime at Inner City Cafe. That's 15 South Essex Avenue in Orange, New Jersey. Also, just going to our website, theinnercitycafe.com. You'll find more about me and my story. I try to be very transparent, and everything that you see on Instagram about me is authentic. I'm super silly. I'm a kid at heart. I didn't get to live out my childhood, and that's what I'm doing through Inner City Cafe.
I love it. And we got to shout out the godmother of every great nonprofit here in New Jersey,
Yes.
Deb Belfato, for connecting us.
Love her. She's so cute.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Chris Argenziano has grown his company into more than just a business. He's built a platform for giving back across New Jersey. Through donations, volunteer projects, and supporting families in need, Chris and his team bring hope and joy to children's hospitals, local charities, and youth programs statewide. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
We met on a very, very, very hot summer day in my backyard because you were about to embark on that project.
That's right.
And what really sold me on your services was a story you told about a little boy who all he wanted was a swimming pool while he was going through his cancer treatments, and you came up big time for him. Tell us that story.
Yeah, it was a exciting time, upon completion of the whole project. Rewarding in so many different ways. Initially, we started an engagement with their family with interest to put a pool in. And there were some scheduling conflicts on their end. They kept rescheduling and reorganizing to have us come out to the home. And through neighbors in the community, we found out the real reason behind it. The little boy was going through treatments, and they wanted to kind of create this atmosphere in the backyard space, because while you're going through those treatments, of course, immune systems are down and so on. So eventually we somehow got it together to where we were able to go to the house. And with meeting with the family, as a father, as a parent, and just talking with all of them and what they were all going through, I was really touched by it, and really wanted to see what I could do, to make the whole thing happen. When it comes to a pool project, it's not just the pool. There's so many different things that are involved around that, such as the patio and electrical and all these other, industries that need to come together, or vendors that need to come together to take on a task like that. So ultimately reached out to a number of vendors that I work with, meaning the manufacturers of the pool equipment, again, the trades like the electricians, plumbers, and we all kind of came together and decided that we were going to try to offer these services voluntarily, so that we can kind of execute on things and kind of deliver everything that they were looking to have.
And you did it.
We did.
Tell us about the build out.
So yeah, it was a beautiful freeform pool design. We wanted to make sure that they had the proper equipment, of course, heated, beautiful like water feature and things attached to it. And yeah, we basically came together. I want to say it took us about, overall on the project, about 45 days to complete. Permitting, of course, took the longest. But all in all, coming together with all the other trades and everything, we got it done pretty quickly.
And the fact that you were able to wrangle all of these people to do it for free.
Yeah. And that was probably the thing that really touched all of us the most. It started with, I was going to offer my services for free, and just telling people and sharing the story behind it. They were all touched by it too, and they all offered their service without me asking. They offered to do these things, at no charge.
What was the little boy's reaction?
Oh, thrilled. The whole family was thrilled. I mean, it's just, the whole family just knowing that they're going to be there in that backyard, spending all that time together, and while he's working through those things, not having to, go out and risk, his health, being in other areas. It was really rewarding. They were absolutely thrilled. They're still thrilled to this day. And to just see how the family, this was years ago, just to see how they've grown, and the kids have grown up and just,
And he, most importantly, is
for
okay
sure.
now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, complete remission. Yeah, thriving. Doing great things. Yeah.
Well, his pool is in great company because you have done the biggest and best pools for some of the most notorious personalities in the Garden State. Tell us about that aspect of your business.
Yeah, it starts off with, you work with one family, just like, any referral, and, you design a beautiful layout and you execute on that layout, and they're happy to share their experience with their friends within their circle. And just like anything else, we've worked with, a large number of people that either professional athletes or people featured on the New Jersey Housewives, Housewives of New Jersey, people in all different professions and things. But yeah, the referral is probably a big reason why we have a lot of the clients that we do.
The Pool Boss, how did you get that nickname?
A friend of mine kind of tossed it around. At first, I was a little reluctant, but I figured, what the heck, give it a shot. It's funny, we worked with Buddy Velastro.
I was going to say, do you ever have a mashup, Pool Boss, Cake Boss?
As a matter of fact, he might have held the title before I did. But yeah, upon meeting with he and his wife, because we worked with them on their pool project, they made a little joke about it. Who came first, with the name. But yeah, it's a name that's kind of, it's funny. I go into backyards and the thing I hear the most is, man, I really love that name.
It's catchy.
It is. Yeah.
People will never forget.
Yeah.
Tell us how you got started in the industry.
Started over 30 years ago. I worked with my family. So my father was a pool builder, still is a pool builder. My grandfather was a pool builder. Kind of in the DNA, So years ago, there was a lot less involved with the entire backyard space. It was limited to just like kind of putting a pool in. And over time, I fell in love with the extension of the home. There's so much more you can do. I fell in love with not just the pool and the patio, but outdoor kitchens, pavilions, pergolas, fire features. Sky's the limit. And there's projects that warrant all that, and there's projects that we just, just putting a pool in. And when I say just putting a pool in, it's still spectacular with like lighting and some of the other features that you have on it. Really makes it beautiful. But yeah, that's how I really fell in love with it.
Yeah, I think during COVID time, people really wanted to invest in their homes, becoming its own oasis, its own hotel, right? A lot of these backyards now have like that Miami boutique hotel vibe.
Yeah, a lot of that is transcended over. Then plus all the inspirations of you go on Houzz or you go on Instagram and you see in different states and even different countries, But it's important to know that although things look amazing, especially with features like AI, it's really important to know what you can or what your limits are, based on the area of where you're building. Mm-hmm. And not only that, rules and regulations by the towns. There's setback requirements and you're only allowed to cover a certain percentage of your property. These are things that we kind of navigate through during our design process.
I think the most important thing, especially for people with young children like we have, safety.
For sure.
How do you ensure that
For
these pools
sure.
are safe?
Yeah, number of reasons. Auto covers have been such a big thing as of late, the last couple of years. Pool alarms, safety fences. These are all things that you really should consider, when designing your space, for sure.
And the fences don't have to be ugly. I saw Mike the Situations
Yes.
backyard. I know
Yeah.
you just wrapped that this
Yep.
summer,
Yeah,
and I was
beautiful glass
blown
rail.
away. And that was my favorite part of the backyard.
Yeah,
The safety
beautiful
fence.
clear glass railing. Really, really came out nice.
So I want to just focus more on the give back of your business. So we started out by you telling that amazing story. What other ways does your company give back?
Yeah, I mean, we donated in the past through charities like Tackle Kids Cancer. A big thing we like to do is when we have clients, just engaging with finding out foundations and things that they're associated with. We try to target those things, and also local football teams and things like that are really some of the areas that we try to focus it on.
Would you want to focus any of that in an even bigger space?
Of course, yeah.
How
Oh,
so?
yeah, arms open. I mean, absolutely. I, again, when I meet with clients, engaging in conversation and things that they're very passionate about. Love to help support in many different ways. Yeah.
And people watching should know it's you. It's
me.
not like you have pool boss minions going out
Right.
to meet the clients. I mean, it's you all the way.
Yeah, initially the first step, when you're meeting with someone, you have to get a good sense of what it is that they're looking to achieve. We all want to pool for different reasons. But one common thing is the family dynamic really plays a big deal in the
How
whole thing.
so?
Well, for me as a kid growing up, I grew up around pools. So I reflect back in my mind about how I spent all day in the pool. The best memories I ever had were with my family in our backyard around that pool and all the other elements. And then I look back to where it is now with my family, So I try to relate things a lot of way that too, So I'll try to talk to people about how many members are in their family, what are the age groups, just knowing, me being a father myself, seeing how kids have always, how they use the pool when they're younger, take a pause for a little bit and then circulate back to it, try to get a good sense of what we can kind of design for them to work with the whole family.
One of the things I came to learn in working with you, deep ends are not a thing anymore.
Not really a thing, yeah. I mean, there's a strong case that if you make the deeper end of your pool a little shallower, right, like a 6-foot deep end, which is very common, we're able to extend more shallow end. So ideally, families spend the majority of the time there. So, the kids, sometimes the adults jump into the deep, swim over the shallow end. That's where they spend a good portion of their time.
And no diving boards.
No, not really. No, people have really gone away from them. They're ugly too. They don't look
They
so
are.
good.
Yeah,
If you're going to
they're
put
dated.
something in, maybe a dive rock if you're going deeper. But yeah, the white fiberglass things, and they don't have the bounce like they did when we were kids.
Yeah,
There's not,
exactly.
they're not as much fun.
And there are slides,
Slides, yeah.
not the ones where we were growing up where
Right.
I don't even know how that was even a thing because they're so unsafe.
Sure.
But now you do a lot of slides,
Yep.
kind of enclosed
Yeah.
almost.
You can do enclosed rock features, dress up things around them. Yeah, real natural looking things. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Where in New Jersey does most of your work occur?
We go throughout a good portion of New Jersey. Mostly, I would say Morris, Bergen, Essex. We venture off into the shore points too. But yeah, those are primarily the areas we work mostly in.
What about Hudson, those New York City views?
Hudson, yeah, we're actually starting one in Jersey City. We always generally find a way, to figure out by using different size equipment or different machinery. Yeah, the good thing is that we handle that part of ourselves. When you're working with someone else, it kind of it gets a little tricky.
So we're working with Mark from Harmony Design Group.
Yep.
That's how he referred us to you. It's a team. Like when people are doing their
For sure.
backyards, it's not just hiring a pool guy, right?
For
You're
sure.
hiring a lot of people to make up
Yeah.
this team to execute it.
Yeah,
To your wildest
it's
dreams.
important to surround yourself with the best. Mark happens to be one of those for sure. Yeah, there's so many different ideas and visions. So if you can collaborate and bring them all together, having someone like Mark, as a part of that is definitely a strong benefit.
Yeah. Before we wrap, I just wanted to shout out, you have such a great social media presence.
Well, thank you.
I mean, you make beautiful pools, so of
Thank
course you
you.
want to document, but why is that such an important part of your business?
People need to really be able to see a vision, and not every yard is the same. They're all different. So it's not uncommon that people can say, I saw this project in, whatever town it is, and I related it to my space, the space that they live in. And they figured, I could actually probably do a pool, because I saw, the way they squeezed in that smaller pool into that tighter spot or things like that. So it's important to really show them so they get a good vision and good sense of what they could possibly do.
Yeah, and what I also love seeing on your social, besides the awesome backyards, your clients really become family.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's a big part of why I love what I do. Just getting to meet new people, right, and learn about them, and they learn about us, and just forming that family dynamic is really a nice thing.
Yeah, I see you on social with Joe Gorga,
Yeah,
so it
yeah,
went beyond their pool, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It really extends beyond I mean, a great thing, a super awesome thing, is when you have that repeat client that either, like, I built pools for over 30 years. I built pools for, someone who, was later on in life, they had kids, and then their daughter or their son's looking to me to put a pool in for them.
Wow.
which is remarkable, just from what I did so many years ago. So that's a real rewarding thing about what I do too.
I love it. Well, where can people find out more about you?
Yeah, so you can check us out on our website, thepoolbossnj.com. You could also check us out on Instagram, again, thepoolbossnj.com.
All right. Well, I look forward to seeing you a lot in my
Yeah.
backyard and documenting what's going to be a gorgeous build. Thank you
sure.
so much for coming here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you for joining me on another episode of Your New Jersey. I'm Lisa Marie Falbo. We'll see you back here next week.